Professor Isidro Matamoros, and in the Pan American Agricultural School, Zamorano. And today we are going to talk about biotechnology in bovines. Well, Professor, we know that the biotechnology is one of the pillars in the management of the cattle. But what is the real definition, the definition about to biotechnology that we can find in the dictionary, or the people that have experience can to give this type of definition?
Okay. Well, an exact definition is would be difficult to recall, but basically, biotechnology is the application of science, science-based knowledge, and into production systems
Okay.
in order to transform, improve, or guarantee biological processes and in the benefit of the animal or the plants.
Okay. Well, in the second years when we of our careers, we see in the class of the animal production. You say that the artificial insemination in bovines is the first reason why the people can have a better production of milk. But my question is how the productive yields have increased in the livestock in the next years. We know that I have people that don't have access to food, and how we can to make the battle to this type of aspect that we have in this type of the years.
Okay, the series is the improvement, genetic improvement in cattle in the past 80 to 90 years has been very heavily influenced by artificial insemination. The thing is that before artificial insemination happened commercially, one bull could get pregnant probably maybe 40 cows, okay, and then produce maybe 40 offerings, and 20 were calves, and 20 were female calves, and the other 20 were male calves.
Yes.
So it was a limited number of animals that could be reproduced in cattle, in bovine production. As artificial insemination came and semen was able to be stored in under freezing conditions, then we could produce many doses of semen in order to get pregnant thousands of cattle. Okay, for example, it's typically that a renowned bull that has been syndicated for artificial insemination, in the lifetime he can produce maybe 180,000, 200,000
Of
offsprings, sons and daughters. So that kind of reproduction is it was only able to happen thanks to artificial insemination. So those genetic improvements started to grow, because then we were able to select the very best animals that provided the very best genes, and they were used in an array of reproductive biotechnologies.
Okay.
One of them being the artificial insemination. Another is like embryo transfer, in vitro fertilization, things like that. But anyhow, the widely applied technology across the world is artificial insemination. And in the past 90 years, they say the analysts that has analyzed big data or meta-analysis, that is called, that make this big analysis, they say that 70% of the production, so the increase in production in the past 90 years, is due to artificial insemination by itself.
In your opinion, we know that it is a different method in the actually, but in your opinion, what is the best method that exists in the present for in the context of biotechnology?
I think clean production. The production is just in anything can be cleaner thanks to biotechnology. The use of prebiotics and probiotics is widely across many different types of food for humans and feeds for animals. And thus the application of, um, of, of prebiotics and probiotics is the mostly applied biotechnology that is available today.
Okay, well, I like too much the genetic,
Mhm.
and I know that I think that is one of the pillars for to supply the food in the future,
Mhm.
or one aspect for to supply the food. But my question is, how are the scientist community work the genetic? Is the science community are found a new genes that can give a more meat or more milk?
Okay, the bovine genome was published in April 2009. This year, just 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we celebrated the 10 years anniversary of the bovine genome as a public domain.
Okay.
And based on that, okay, on that public domain, we have been able to develop genomic bulls. With the genomic bulls, we are able to identify the bulls that carry the genes that directly affect, and the set of genes, not one gene, the set of genes that directly affect a productive trait that we are interested in, being milk fat or milk protein or milk production or milk lactose. Okay, we can identify the genes in the genome, okay, with a genomic test, and we can identify the ability of that bull to provide those traits to the next generation. So we now, with those tools, are better able to secure the use of the best animal that is feasible to be the parent of the next generation. And that's how they identify.
I know that you have a big experience working with biotechnology, but always have a different experiments that the people make every day. Or in this case, what is the most strange experiment that you have done in your career?
Okay. Two things that have me very impressed right now is Ingeniero Trabanino, Rogelio Trabanino, got a hold of a nematode that it lives in symbiosis with a bacteria. And between the two of them, they can be parasitic. They are both beneficial, but they can be parasitic to a wide range of insects, like ticks, fleas, worms, and different things that can attack either animals, for example the ticks, or the plants. And with the same nematode as a biological control, we can annihilate or reduce the impact of those diseases or insects as a plague. The other one that hit me really hard last year is that we were able up to now to fix nitrogen with leguminous trees and leguminous plants, because they have the capacity of association with a rhizobium, and with that rhizobium they produce nitrogen nodes where they store nitrogen in the roots, and they can deposit nitrogen from the
Atmosphere.
atmosphere into the soil. Okay.
Like
Ingeniero Trabanino, again, has got a whole of a bacteria that we can put together with the seeds of grasses, of Gramínea family, and those Gramínea plants will be able to fix nitrogen. And that is really amazing what they can do. We were able to produce the same amount of biomass as plants that were completely fertilized.
okay. And my last question is that we know that you have a, a long time working in Zamorano, but in your opinion, what is the most important experiment are made you in Zamorano, or when you can
With
say
biotechnology,
in the context of biotechnology?
there are many studies, but many years ago we did some studies combining rumensin, which is an ionophore produced by a fungi, okay, and we use also a yeast product from a special strain, and with those two, we were able to increase the productivity both in milk production in cows and in average daily gain in steers. And that is a piece of data that is still being used 20 years after the experiment has been done and published. It's still being published. The other one is that with Miguel Pineda, a graduate from the class of 2014, we use biological control to control ticks in cattle, and we were able to demonstrate that the cows where we use biological control produce almost 1 liter more per day as the cows that were treated with pesticides to control ticks. So the intoxication in the cows is something that's happening. They are able to detoxify themselves, but that's in the process of detoxification. The energy that is used to detoxify then is at the expense of milk production, if it is a milking cow, or beef production, if it is a beef cow.
Okay. So thanks, Professor Isidro Matamoros. That is all, and have a good night.